ownership. Just to make a point, I'd like to first go ahead and thank Univision for, I don't know, Univision is not the Hispanic-owned company. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about media ownership and the FCC, basically, right? That's what we're here for. Now, getting back to the issue, okay, when you turn around and you look at the FCC versus media ownership and diversity in the Austin market, okay, the broadcasting stations in Austin, the Hispanic ones, or the Spanish stations, do not focus on the majority of the Hispanics in the area. In Austin, the demographics, according to 2005 census, there's 278,000 Hispanics in the Travis County area. Out of that 278,000 Hispanics, 76,000 Hispanics, rough estimate, there's a couple of hundred extra, are foreign-born Hispanics, okay? The majority, 201,000, are U.S.-born Hispanics. Thus, we call them Chicanos, we call them Mexican-Americans, Hispanics, U.S. Hispanics, U.S.-born. That's the problem, okay? You don't have Tejano music, you don't have Chicano, you don't have U.S.-born Hispanic systems that are pointing towards that community, okay? In turn, everybody is focusing on the foreign-born, and they use our demographics. They say, we serve all the Hispanics in this market. We serve over 500,000 Hispanics in the Austin market. Yet, the majority of those numbers are U.S.-born Hispanics. They are what we call Chicanos, what we call Tejanos, what we call our gente. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
We are not being served. See, if you go back to the history of the FCC, back before the Telecommunications Act of 1996 and deregulation, okay, you used to only be able to own, in radio broadcasting, because that's where my expertise is, you used to only be able to own 2 radio stations, okay? They also had a system to where if you were a woman, a minority, disabled, those kind of criteria, you had a better chance of getting a radio station. Then, after that, they moved into a name-in-a-hat kind of system. Basically, we're going to put your name in a hat, and if we draw your name, you get the station. Then, after that, they moved into the auction system. Now, see, the auction system is corporate America's favorite choice. Why? Because, in turn, I can auction, and I can go ahead and auction against you and say, I'll give you $1.2 million for that station. What is the local owner or the minority local owner going to do? They do not have $1.2 million, and if they do, that's the only $1.2 million they got. So the question is that this system is broke. I'm sorry to inform the FCC, I'm sorry to inform the public. The system is broke. I've been on both sides of the line. I've been in broadcasting. I was born and raised in broadcasting, okay? And I'm also a member of LULAC. I'm a member of the community. I've done things for the community that, a lot of people haven't seen. And you know why they haven't seen it? Because conglomerates own these radio stations and they do not support us. There's Jamaica's in East Austin. There's events. There's everything that's going on. The DSC States wasn't even covered by the Hispanic radio station. That's supposed to be our event. That's supposed to be the Hispanic event. Not only ours, not only Chicanos, but Mexicanos too. And they wouldn't even cover it. We asked. They didn't cover it. We asked them to cover our events in Parque Zaragoza. They didn't help. They didn't announce it. You know what? But we went ahead and we bought spots on an English station just trying to reach our gente because they wouldn't support it. In turn, I've noticed the FCC did a report on advertising prices from 1996 to 2001. Okay, the problem with that is is that deregulation in the Telecommunications Act happened in 1996. By the time they did that report, the dates that they did that report, they were already owned by conglomerates. They said the prices of advertising went down. Since then, okay, how are you going to compare before deregulation, when it was locally owned radio stations, to when it became commercially owned, when it became conglomerate owned? The difference is, once Clear Channel hit the table, they hit the table at $125 to $140 a spot. Okay? They're still in that area. Sometimes it may go down, but that has to be a Class A radio station, which is barely going to get you a 25-mile radius. Okay? And those spots are anywhere from $40 to $70. Okay? Local business owners, the community cannot afford that. You know, when we were in radio, when we owned the radio stations, my father owned 5, we had our spots at $5 to $10 to $15 a spot. You know what? A mom and pop store can buy that ad. They cannot buy advertising at $200 a spot on a Hispanic station because they can't afford it. You have to pull money together to do that. Corporate America can do that. I can understand a national spot going at that. But national spots are going higher than that. Can you imagine a local owner trying to purchase those spots? You need at least, you cannot buy 2 ads a day and guarantee you're going to have a turnaround in your business. I've been in broadcasting. I know. You play 2 spots a day, that's lost within 24 hours. You turn around, there's 1,440 minutes in a day. 30-second spot within 1,440 minutes. You turn it around, that is lost in the fold. That's like a drop in a bucket. And if you're trying to afford primetime spots, you can't do that. It's affecting the local community businesses. It's affecting the local communities. See, I personally believe that, yes, corporate America should make their money because they did pay for the stations, but you know what? We at least need to change back a rule to where you have a better chance of a minority or a woman ownership in broadcasting. And there should be a mandatory at least 35 to 50% locally owned in a market. That should be, I mean, I know we're probably not going to get that, but you know what? We need to start working towards that. You know why? Because we're losing that. There was a situation where a young Hispanic was shot in southeast Austin, Daniel Rocha. He got shot. Yeah, they covered it for the glamour, they covered it for all that, but you know, when local leaders of the community, the Chicano community, because he wasn't Chicano, tried to go and speak on these broadcast stations to calm the public down, they didn't get the chance. They cut to a little spot, oh, he got shot, oh, he got shot by a cop, oh, this and that. We couldn't calm the public down. It was a big situation. The public was really upset. And they covered the glamour. Don't get me wrong. They covered what happened. I'm not talking about the television station. I'm talking about radio. We went to radio seeking to speak to our community because, let's face it, most of our community listens to radio. Okay? Why? Because we have a good portion of our community that still does work outside. But we do have a good portion of our community that works in offices, and during the day, they're sitting there with the radio on. And when they have that radio on, they're listening to radio. And since we didn't have a Chicano radio station, we didn't have a Tejano radio station, we weren't able to reach the listeners that we needed to. And that's a big problem with community and diversity in the media. The media nowadays looks at the dollar, they don't look at the community. They don't have to rely on the community. Back in the day, a radio station needed local advertising. Nowadays they don't. Why? I own 35 radio stations. I can give you this much coverage by demographics. They don't pinpoint exact demographics. They don't say, of that 500,000, 150,000 are foreign-born Hispanics. That's the ones we actually serve. They don't say general stuff like that. They say, we serve all 500,000 in each of these markets. So you spend your money with me. And if you don't, and you're not going to get airplay, you're not going to get the time. And that's basically what I'm saying. We need to look at this in depth, and we need to get on the ball, gentlemen, because I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop fighting this.
Yeah.
If I got to walk...